me just try one more time. Maybe it'll let me know.
One more duo push.
Yeah, let's go ahead and start. I have some.
Federico, would it be okay if I introduce you?
Oh yes, go ahead.
Okay,
Go
thank
ahead.
you. Okay, welcome everybody. Welcome to Map Time Davis. I'm Naomi Calvin. I work in DCM and which is design and construction management. And today I am happy to introduce our guest to Map Time. But first, Map Time is the home of the geospatial community on campus. We're open to everybody. We have workshops, we have working days where you can come in and just work on stuff you want and meet other mappy people. If you want more information, you want to go to maptimedavis.github.io. We've got all of our workshops that are upcoming. We've got archived videos. We've got links for participation, how to get involved. We're run by a group of volunteers that helps organize workshops and keep this thing running. So we're always looking for ideas and help. And we are happy you guys are here today. So today we have Federico. You're gonna have to do your last name again.
Albarracin.
Albarracin.
Yeah.
Federico Albarracin and Kevin Kong from UC Davis Facilities. We are an ivory tower, but ivory towers need plumbing, electricity, all the utilities that you need.
Anything.
And this is not the we're gonna come out and fix your light bulb utilities. This is the stuff that runs your campus. So I'm super excited to have them here today and help and have them share some about applied GIS. We don't get a lot of that here, so I'm really excited. Thank you for your time.
Awesome.
I'm going to turn it over.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for coming. Yeah, my name is Federico. Quick introduction. I graduated from landscape architecture major here on campus in 2020. So GIS was new to me. We don't have many classes with GIS. So why am I here? I was a student intern, just like Kevin is right now. It's just when I graduated, COVID happened, many positions opened up. I was at the right place at the right time. And I got to learn GIS as I work around. So it's been challenging, but it's been fun. Kevin, you want to give your introduction?
Go stand by the mic so you can
Yeah, right here. Well, I think you can say your major.
Yeah, hi, I'm Kevin. I'm a student here at UC Davis, and I'm a sustainable environmental design major, and I'm currently a student intern here at Facilities, working under Federico.
Awesome, thank you. Yeah, so what do we do in the office? Well, Facilities manages and maintains over 80,000 assets on campus. I work under the asset management, the GIS division section. So what we do is respond to any locating need. For example, there's a new construction going on. We need to see where's the gas, where's the water, where the electrical line circuits going through. That way, there are no emergencies where people are just digging underground, hit an electrical line. It becomes a whole mess. One of the main things that we do also is work with other departments. So fire and police, construction management, finances, operations, IT department. So we make a lot of maps for them, either for mapping out what services do we operate, or just anything like emergency responses for fire department or police. This is how our infrastructure looks, or like our organization chart looks like. And we are just a little part in this whole campus. Campus is huge. I always like to say it's like a mini city. We have, like I mentioned, our own police, our own medical team, our own designers. And what we do is just make maps and try to collaborate with other people to make the campus work together and have a safe environment for students and for coworkers. So yeah, we're just this little part right here, and that zooms into just this little section. My office is only 6 people, including my manager. So we have a manager, 3 other GIS specialists. So I do everything that it's outside of a building. anything that comes in to servicing water, electricity, gas, sewer, and storm, including also some of the PG&E mapping of the services that they have, even though we're not responsible of those, but it's good to know where they are within the campus. We also do inside of the building, fire alarm systems, eye wash emergencies, and just building footprints. So we have all the footprints for the buildings. Any little addition or renovation on the buildings, we have to note it, we have to draw it and publicize it. Also, the emergency routes maps that you see on the campus, those are done within our shop with the other GIS specialist that manages the indoor part of the buildings. We do have student intern opportunities. So normally we have about 2 students per year. Sometimes we might have 3 students during the summer. So in the summer, students are able to work 40 hours a week. During your regular quarter, you're only allowed to work up to 19 hours. When I was a student, these are the main things that I focused on: field surveying, mapping data management, production of printed and digital maps, and participation on other events. So I don't know if you walk around campus, we have light posts, a lot of them. When I was a student, I had to put on stickers on the light posts and map them out so that the stickers would have a phone number. And if community members see that the light post is broken, then you can text that number, and then that number will go to our system, and then the system will just tell our lighting guys, hey, this light bulb is broken, go fix it right now. Well, that's what I had to do during the summer. Walk around, bike around. Obviously, we will have to go in early because the summer it gets very hot. A lot of mapping and data. So we manage a lot of, we're an AutoCAD based shop. So we are kind of like integrating AutoCAD now with ArcGIS Pro, even though we've been doing it. But I feel like now the transitioning that we're taking on to the coming years is going to be fully ArcGIS. However, with AutoCAD, what allows us to do a lot of design. So we do a lot of updates on sidewalk and hardscape on campus. And we publicize that in our website, which is called Facilities Maps. So I'm going to show you the website and what we do on the updates. Then also we do, like printing maps. So recently we printed some maps that contain the locations of the hydrants, some maps that contain the location of the general campus, and we distribute those within our organization. So these are very helpful for other people that work in the campus, and they need to know exactly where one building is with certain specific information that is only known for us, the staff. So building codes, building addresses, building names or alternate names. So these are all, I guess, like information that certain shops use other than just the name. So people might know this building as building ID number 1234 instead of Chills Library. So it's just really weird how people manage.
Can I see one of the map books?
Oh, yeah. So go ahead, Kevin. So the map book gets publicized every year, and every other year it gets printed. So this is the newest edition that we have, so we can pass it around. And we have also an outdated version of the fire map book, which has the campus and all the hydrants and FDCs, which stands for Fire Department Connection Stations. So,
And the blue boxes, the call boxes.
Oh, yeah, so that one is in a different map. But yeah, the emergency call boxes, the ones like the blue towers.
Ones,
Yeah. So luckily that happened when I was here on campus, so I know a lot about the locations of those. Go ahead, Kevin. Anything that you want to share on your experience as a student intern?
What are you working on?
So far, I've been working on schematics, basically just updating them according to the facilities map data. And they also help edited the map book. That one, yeah.
Yeah, so the map book is, we publicize it every year, but it's mainly a student project. So students come in, make the updates, and then we just send it to print. We go through revisions, a lot of revisions. So yeah, I mean, there might be some things that we might miss, and then those are upgraded as somebody comes and tells, oh, the building Chills Library changed to Federico's Hall. And I'm like, oh, okay, let's change that. Yeah. Anything else, Kevin?
I also just finished editing the fire hydrant map book.
Yeah.
The fire map book, which is an older version. It's been passed around somewhere. So
Yeah, it's all the way back.
yeah.
Yeah. We also participate on a winter event called the Light Walk, Campus Light Walk. So in this event, we meet together with the high voltage and lighting people, the engineers, the directors, and then we gather a certain group of students and a certain group of staff, and then we divide the campus in certain zones. Then we walk around, we note of any lights that need to be repaired, any areas that are dark and that probably need new lighting. So we usually provide the maps for this event also, and that's also a good student project. So also when we go out surveying, we use this receiver. So this is just the head of the receiver. So normally it has a tripod and extends higher. So the receiver will connect to your phone via Bluetooth, and the receiver then will connect to the satellites. So normally in a good day, in a good clear day, we'll probably have about 12 to 20 satellites connecting at the same time. So this triangulates your location, and this is how we get the exact location of what you're surveying. For example, someone tells us, and back there we have a map of West Campus electrical poles. So the guys just mark down with Sharpie. We put 3 light posts in here. So, well, we cannot just mark them based on your Sharpie. We need to actually go get the exact location, because in case that somebody needs to dig around, then they're gonna hit a circuit that's fitting this light post, and then they're gonna be like, why is this not properly mapped? Well, I don't want to be responsible of that, so we use the R2 receiver. So let me see So in order to do that, we use Trimble Connect, which is an online website, and we pay for the system, for the service. So we're able to collect the data, and then we're able to download the data as a shape file. Then we put the data into AutoCAD, and then it gets publicized in our website. We also, on our website, it's called Facilities Maps, which is here. I'll go over it in a little bit. So on Facilities Maps, only a certain certain group of people have access to it, because there's sensitive data, but I'll be able to show you around and see what we have. And this data, well, now you have access to it, so you'll be able to see all the utilities, any pictures, any record drawings. So we have records from, I think the oldest I've seen is from like 1920s, and then it could be just site drawings, hand drawings. It's very old. We have very old data. So that's why the transitioning from what we have right now to a new system might be complicated, because we've been feeding this site with so much information that just moving all of that information to a different environment is very, very difficult. So we're working on it. And just most recently, we're using field maps to survey. So in field maps, we're able to connect the R2 receiver, but also Facilities Maps was built in 2004. So it does not work in mobile devices. And when I meet with the inspectors in the field, I will see them carrying a laptop. And I'm like, why are you carrying a laptop? Well, because the website doesn't work on the phone properly or on the tablet. Or alternatively, they will ask us to print those huge maps, and then they'll be walking around with the maps and be like, well, we need to mark down this. So if it's rainy, if it's windy, it's gonna be a hustle to just be able to make any annotations on the field. So with field maps, luckily, we're able to do that now digitally. And it's just more convenient. It's almost instant when we have the red lines. Any current projects that we're working on. So Agriculture Innovation Center, which is the big building next to the recreational pool by Hutchison. We also have the Segundo Infill Housing, which is a new set of dorms that is going to be built just right next to Segundo. There's like a parking lot that is being torn apart and just more buildings going there. And Big Shift Phase 2, which is the heating hot water system that is being implemented in order to heat up the buildings and provide more, well, heat up and cooling the buildings. So I'm going to show some of the things that we do at work. So this is something that we provide to the electrical shop. This is a single line diagram of a portion of the campus for the electrical circuits. And it is a whole mumble jumble of lines and things that are a bit difficult to understand, but this essentially tells what transformer feeds what building. If there's an emergency with one of the circuits, which circuit is the backup. And if you see those manholes or those green boxes out on campus, then they will know specifically where to go, what to unplug and what to plug in order to keep the campus running. So we do have emergency electrical line circuits so that if something happens to the main transformer, then we have energy still going around and our guys can still work without having to affect the functionality of the building. Come on. Yeah, sorry, my computer is so slow today. So let me go ahead and show you. Hide this over here. So this is facilities maps. And all of these buildings that you see right here, they're all drawn on AutoCAD. Have you guys used AutoCAD before? Okay. So I don't have AutoCAD here because it's a MacBook, and I don't have a Windows laptop. But I have some screenshots of the workflow and what I do on AutoCAD. So I'm going to use an example, just zoom into Chills Library, exactly where we are. And this is where all the information comes together on what we do in our office. I'm going to turn on domestic water, which has the information for hydrants, fire water. So if there's a fire or an emergency, then that's where you see also in that booklet, the fire map book, they will be able to find easily where the hydrant is. What you don't have in there is everything that goes underground. So we have main lines, service lines, hydrants, bulbs, all of this information, which you can also click around and you'll get record drawings. Hopefully, as long as we have the record. So this is a good example. This is a really, really old drawing which shows when the water line was installed. When there's a construction, our guys mainly go into these files and then they're able to tell the contractor, there's a line right here, be careful when you dig. And what we do is we go on the field and then we spray paint. So we have 2 locators in our team. So all the spray paint marks that you see on the ground, those are our guys. Our guys telling the contractors, watch out, there's electrical lines go here. Watch out, there's a water line, there's a gas, so on. All the utilities, they are responsible of marking them down and notify the contractors. That way there's not an emergency. Any information that you see right here will be the size of the pipe, the source, which would be the PDF that I just showed you, the year in which it was installed, and the material, and when the data was updated. So it gets updated every night. Additionally, we have building information. So this is where you have the zone of the building, the code number of the building, and that's what I was talking about. Some people don't know the name of the building, but they might know the zone or the CAN. So we need to update those maps. The big map back there, it has it's a compilation of the whole campus with the names and the CAN numbers. So some people may just ask for both. So we do have the floor plans right over here. And this is what our interior, well, our GIS specialist that focuses on the interior of buildings does. He makes sure that all the floor plans are updated, just, for emergency exits, for maybe a new presentation, or somebody needs to book a room and then they come in and like, hey, there are 3 rooms in here. We also update the room numbers, very important. So yeah, you'll see right here with great detail, we have to put in every desk, every door, the opening of the door, and just like in every map, basic things that we need to include or are included: a north arrow, a scale, a legend, a title. All of these are very essential. We do also have detailed drawings, if I am able to find them right here. So we have a lot of records for, let me see this one. Instructions on how something must be built or installed, or schedules on how the building is being built throughout the phase of its construction. So I think this is a sequence. So we have sequence of, this is for fire alarms. Yeah, fire alarm system. So like once in its lifetime, but there's just always this one case where someone needs to revisit the website and revisit the information. So it is good to know that it's always available, and we have tons and tons, as you can see right here, tons of information, tons of links. So we manage that. We do have, and the person that manages those PDFs is our other student intern. So the other student intern is in charge of linking all of these schedules, floor plans, site plans, irrigation plans, anything, any of the utility plans to this website. That way they're available for our fellow coworkers. Okay, let me go to Trimble Connect. So on Trimble Connect, what I have is a utilities settings testing. So I think campus, UC Davis, through the geography department, or now physical and earth science, I think is what it's called, they have what is it called? Not geodatabase, like its own tower signal kind of thing. Forget what it's called. So we can connect the Trimble equipment to this main port, and it's a paid service, so we pay for it. And with that, it gives them more accuracy to recollect the data. So it changes sometimes a lot. So they change the port name, they change the port code. We have to make those updates, and it probably changes about 2 or 3 times per year. And we need to make the proper changes in our system so the R2 is getting the correct signal. We have a folder for all the students' work. So all of these are projects that we have used the receiver throughout the years. So sometimes they're not outdated. Yeah, 24. We haven't used it much this year. Come on. So in here we have the campus, and we have surveyed, just right here, right next to us. I think in this case we were doing transformers. So we go out in the field, we take pictures of the label and the location of the utility. So once we have all the information that we can collect, so I'm able to change. Red is for transformers, Yellow is for light posts. Let me see. Yeah, electrical poles. And I'm able to download the information. It will send it to my email, and I'm able to change it to shapefile. And then when I export, and I will get an email with a link to download the file, and then I can import that file into my AutoCAD workspace. Then within AutoCAD, I'll have the exact location, since everything is already using the coordinates that are already set up in my R2 receiver. That's some of the workflow that we do here. And is there a way where I can connect this so that it's charging properly? I think this is not.
It wasn't working on the thing right on the table.
No, I think. Oh, I see it. Okay, perfect. Yeah, I see it right here.
The tables are starting.
Oh, yeah, don't worry. That table's just not plugged in.
Yeah, that could be.
All right, yeah, now I see it. Perfect. Okay. So yeah, these are some of the main sites that we use aside from ArcGIS Online, which for some reason my computer is not letting me log in, but hopefully I can do it soon. Let me see. Yeah, so those are some of the things that we manage. Also, I forget to show you, but this is only one sheet of the single lines. So I think there are like a total of 4 or 5 sheets. And they're all pieced together, and they have them in the electrical shop pinned up, and they make changes depending of which circuit is available, which transformer is on, which transformer is off, and so on. This is when I just started working here, there was a remodelation on Orchard Park. Actually, no, this happened about 2-3 years ago. So I was not a newbie. This is how it looks when we receive the documents from the contractors. And what we do is we go out on the site. Before construction, we have to mark the site. After construction, during construction, I meet up with the inspector, and we go through the changes that are made, because in a perfect world, everything will build as we have it here. And then after construction, we go with our students, and then we're like, hey, there are 3 light posts that are not matching on the site to what we have here on our as-builts. So we need to go out there, use the locator, and then try to get this information. Then we get back to our crew and be like, okay, what happened here? We don't have records for this drawing, which is very difficult. We don't always have the records for all the drawings. There's a lot of people that just go do the changes, and then it's on their heads, then they retire, nobody knows. There are some instances where we're in the field, and then I get a call, and like, there's a pipe here, we don't know what it is. I'm like, I don't know, this was built in the 60s, I wasn't even born. This is kind of hard to see, but this is one of the spray paints that we do. And this is supposed to be a D and a W, so domestic water, and the direction in which it runs. So these are some of the markings that you guys will be able to see down on the field, along with some other ones that say USA, which means underground service alert. So meaning that there are utilities going down. And this is what in reality looks like when we get an as-built. So a lot of red lines, a lot of comments, a lot of new additions or things that get taken away. So these are the areas where we need to go walk around with the inspector and make new changes to our maps, make them available online, just so that there are no accidents while they're digging or going through the construction site. This is the AIC, the Agricultural Innovation Center. This is the kind of like the most recent copy that we have. And right here, you'll be able to see, this is a domestic water that connects to the existing main. And then it feeds right here to what it is. This is a hydrant, and this is FDC. So both of them will be where the fire trucks will be connecting to. And this is a sewer line. So you see where the building feeds this system and where everything is supposed to run. So yeah, it's a lot of lines. Yeah, and there's a lot of intersecting lines. You know, people can just dig on there and be like, I'm looking for this water line, because there is going to be a lot of utilities that overlap. This is the Segundo infill housing project. So this is how it's supposed to look like after it's built. And same thing, we have a lot of lines that demonstrate the irrigation in this area. We have any services. This is the heating hot water. So that is the new service that is going to be heating and cooling the building. Before we used to use, I think it was steam and chill water. So I think that's getting replaced by heating hot water. So all of those pipes are either being abandoned or just replaced by heating hot water. So, and by abandoned, I mean things that are just obsolete, but it costs too much to take them out. So just leave them there. And those are the ones that we also have to take into account, because sometimes people find this pipe and like, we don't know what this is. Well, this is an abandoned line, so you can just break through and keep working, keep doing your construction. Lots of lighting. Right here, lighting is probably one of the most difficult ones to track, because it's easy to move around and people don't tell us what's going on. And this is the heating hot water. So in here we have the new rerouting of where the system is going and how it feeds some of the buildings. We do have profiling also. So we see also the angles in which they're going, with the depth in which they're going also, and any other intersection. I don't think we have it here, but sometimes it will mark the intersections of if there's any other utility line that crosses its path. So all of those records are in our website, so that when the construction crew is going through the site, then they know where to dig and what they're going to find. Hopefully we have it documented. This is how it works in my computer. So what you see right here on this black screen, that's AutoCAD. So this is the whole system for the water, for the domestic water. It's very hard to see. And what I do first, so I'm gonna walk you through what I do at work in order to get this information updated. So, sorry, updated into field maps. So facilities maps updates every night. Any changes that I'm making to the master file will resemble our website. But now, since we're transitioning to these field maps, or more like field maps is more of an experiment to us, which has been welcomed by a lot of people. So I'm going to show you the process of how I use this information, which is a DWG file, into a shape file, and then how can you maybe download this information in your application and then work with it. So the first thing I do to know where I am is use the xref command. This right here, xref, which allows me to bring in the information of my base map. So we have every building that we have that you saw on the website, it's built by polylines. So any little change that we make, we have to go in and manually draw it and make sure that it's accurate to the floor plans. After we find the file, so it's going to open this window. We find the file, we attach it, and on our system, it already has a coordinate assigned. So we press OK, and right here, you'll be able to see the gray lines. It's a bit difficult to see, but the gray lines are overlaying the blue lines. So then you'll be able to see the buildings where the water is being serviced for each building or for each hydrant. The coordinate system that we use is NAT 83, California State Plains, Zone 2, US foot. So when we assign the coordinates, there's a lot of them. We just need to make sure that we're in the correct one. So Zone 2 for California, it's where we're in the Northern California area. And you also have meters. I don't know who works in meters in the US, but I don't know, maybe you need to send data to Europe for some reason. And here we have the layers that we use. So the layers meaning, for example, you want to have a layer for hydrants. You want to have a layer for your service lines, for your main water lines. So we need to make sure that everything is organized and properly labeled so that it's easier to find. Maybe you only want to turn off, maybe you only want to see your valves. So you can turn off all the other layers and you can just see your valves on the map. And you have, it's not in here, but this is object data. So the object data is where we populate the size, the information about the size, the material. We put in the source code. We put in when it was built, who built it, who put it in there. So we can see, okay, so Kevin was working on this line maybe 2 weeks ago. So if someone is responsible about that, it's Kevin. I'm kidding. But it's good to know, to see who worked on it. And we also have records. So it's on the record also in our system that the students are doing work, because we also have to provide that. What work, like we need to tell campus and the finance department, why do you need a student? Well, we need students because they help us to map out things. In order to export that information, we use the command map export, which will open this window. And in this window, we'll select shape. So this is the information that we want to export from AutoCAD into shape files so they can work eventually into ArcGIS Pro or ArcGIS Online. Once you find your destination folder, then this new window will open up. And in here, you will select under the selection tab. In this case, I am exporting my service lines. So it's a line data object. And on the layers, we're gonna click on this little icon and it will open this window. Then you'll browse around and then you'll select the layer that you want to export. So you can select multiple layers. Usually I do my service, my domestic service, my domestic mains, and any fire water. And it will, once you export it, it will still keep that order of, you can turn on and turn off the layers based on the name of the layers. Then you will go to the data, and on the data, you're gonna select the object data. So in the object data, you want to make sure to select layer. That way, the shape file exports your service, main, and fire. Then you will go back and select, instead of the layer, you're gonna go to domestic. So in domestic, you're gonna select, or you're gonna be exporting all the information that we populate for the year, the size, the material, all of that, all of the resources will be embedded into that shape file. And let me see right here. And just as a final reminder, you wanna make sure that you are in this coordinate system. Otherwise, sometimes we get the data from contractors, and when I extract everything, it sends me to the middle of the Pacific. Yeah, I'm like, I didn't know we have land in there. We don't manage that. Yeah. So it happens where we're trying to, we get data from contractors and they don't do their job and they don't do their coordinate system. So it brings a whole bunch of other problems where I have to sometimes scale the drawing because even the units are not properly put. And then do my best to bring the drawing into campus and make it as accurate as I can. Yeah. Once the data exports, you'll see this right here. So all these, what is that, 5, 6 files are I think DBF is for database file, I believe so, IDX, PRJ, and so on, shape. So you're gonna grab all of those and zip them. Once they're all zipped, then we're able to import them into field maps or ArcGIS Online. And then, yeah, I don't know why ArcGIS Online doesn't just accept shape. Like you have to
You
zip
have to
all of
zip
the
your
files.
shapes. Yeah, you can
Yeah.
also take it to your database, but it won't, you have to zip your shape.
Yeah. So we will have to zip everything, send it in there, and hope for the best. See what happens. So I do have a little work session so you guys can create your own map with some of the line waters that we have that we have here on campus. And I have made like a little buffer area so that you guys can work with the line data that we have in the library. If I am able to log in. Okay. So are we gonna record also the work session?
So we don't have to record the work session, right? Whenever you're comfortable with
Oh,
what you do.
yeah, I just need to.
Pause the recording and do that.
We can do that. I just need to make sure to log in. See if I can do it. Yes. So let's make sure that everybody has the. So how do they get the information for?
So go to map.davis.github.io and find the box that says events. And when you click on that, I don't know if you guys can hear me. Yeah.
There's a link to the workshop materials in the event table that shows the goals and things.
You scroll down a little bit under, I don't know if you can. You get events and then scroll down a little bit and there's a list of all the events and you find the one that says GIS and facilities management. And with the location, it has the workshop materials and the link. If you click on that, you'll get to a box drive that has the shape files and the slides. So you guys can look this over.
Cool.
Okay, I'm gonna click
All right. So I was able to log in. I had to use Safari. Yeah. I literally was on my Google Chrome last night at 1 a.m. and I'm like, I want to make sure it works. And when I come here, it doesn't. Oh, that's the thing. Sometimes you might get an error 405 or 444. I can't remember. So you need to delete your cookies. So the ones that you use for all time. Like when you delete it, make sure to select all time. And then try to log in back into your ArcGIS Online. And let me know when you guys are on the website.
Do you want me to stop the recording now?
Oh, no, we can do it. Yeah. I just wasn't sure if I had to type in my password, but everything is automated now. So the first time I used Safari in this computer. So in here, you can see the content that I have for our campus. So let me just briefly open this one. This is one of the ones that has been more requested to have access. And the good thing about this one is that you'll be able to pull this information on your phone and your tablet. That way you're not carrying around a 24 by 36 printed map of all the utilities, which, the more utilities you have, the more populated and messy it gets. And sometimes people need to see the IDs for Evolve, but when there's so many utilities next to it, the ID might be covered by some other information. The way I have set up this map is so that when you zoom out, you'll be able to see on these red lines and yellow highlighted areas are the areas where we're working on and areas where we have found discrepancies on the field. As an example, let me go to this area. This is for the heating hot water. And once I click on this line, am I able to see? Okay. You'll be able to see the data that was surveyed. I have to fix this, but my name should have been there. What system it is? Well, it's a gas line that was found to be abandoned. The size, 2 inches, and the material is steel. So we go on the field, and if you see this spray paint right here also, that's some of our guys are one of some of the locator work that we do. So yes, correctly, we were able to find this pipe. But if you see right here, there's another one that got cut. So this is some of the things that sometimes I get called upon in the field. Like, hey, we found this. You marked only one line. There's only one spray paint line. But in reality, there are two pipes. So which one of these is a gas line? Well, then we need to do our investigation. Go connect on the valve, turn off the valve, test the line. Is the line getting gas through? How do we locate the pipes? Which actually, the old school way is you have a copper stick, which is called a witch stick, and any flow of water or any flow of any liquid will generate electricity. So you'll walk around, and our guys will be walking around, and the witch stick will move to the direction in which the water is running. So they'll be able to pinpoint, okay, here, if it moves, then that means there's water in there. So that's a very old school. I don't even know who figured that out. Nowadays, and I couldn't bring the equipment because the guys are on the field using it, we have a trace wire attached to the new pipes. So you run electricity through a wire that goes along the pipe, and they were able to, well, with the magnetic or like a receiver kind of thing, we'll be able to spray paint and tell the guys, okay, here there is a line that goes through, and just be careful. So you'll be able to see right here, for example, they were able to connect, trace the line almost accurately, but there were two lines, so we don't know which one is which. And those are things that happen usually. We mark one line, but there are two. We don't know one is abandoned. So probably some of the records that we don't have in our files. The more you zoom in, the more information will show up. So right here, you'll be able to see each utility is being populated. And I have, let me see if I can see right here. Manholes, which is this area, and then this dotted line, I don't know if you guys can see it, yeah. Which is pretty cool, which I didn't know until I started working here, is manhole footprint or something like that. So when you see those lids underground, when you go down there, there's a whole room of utilities going through, and I had no clue what was going down there until I seen pictures. Well, you need some certifications to go down there and do any operations, but then you'll see like cables that go from like maybe 2-3 feet deep, and then they connect to their own systems. Sometimes you find underground transformers. So everything looks so pretty above ground, but once you go down there, it's just like a ramen top noodles, a whole bunch of things. And it's also good to know how everything connects to each other. The electrical system feeds a lot of the meters for gas, for water. So everything is so interconnected and complicated. So that's why I say UC Davis is like its own little city. We have a person for everything. So, okay, in this example, let's go ahead and if you guys are in ArcGIS Online, you can go to your contents, and probably this might be empty. So this is where you have your folders. You can go ahead and create a new folder on the Create New Folder tab. And I think I have made one for Maptime Davis. Yep. I'm gonna delete all of this. Delete. And let me know if you guys are having any issues accessing the website. So yeah. Okay, so let me see, where am I again? Come on. Oh, here we go. So in here, you'll see that you don't have any files yet. So let me go ahead to my desktop. And if you download the resource, there's a shape folder which you might need to unzip. And then here you'll be able to see We have fire, water, we have hydrant, we have main and service, oops, and we have valves. So each one of these has its own zipped folder. This zipped folder is the one that you want to upload into your website or QGIS. What is it that you're using? QGIS?
QGIS.
Okay. Okay. So I think that's also the file that you need to upload there. I'm not quite sure. So
You can show people how to do things in ArcGIS Online.
yes.
Yeah, probably the login.
Correct.
Alright.
So I'm gonna drag. Yes. So you want to drag. In this case, I'm doing fire water. You want to drag it in here. You're dragging the zip folder. And in these settings, you can press OK. Make it a hosted feature layer. So because this is a test for campus, I'm having it as a hosted feature layer. There's a whole other level of enterprise, which we need to touch later in the future. But right now, since, well, hopefully I'm going to be working here for many years, so I can organize and manage the data and hopefully pass it on to whoever is going to be replacing me in the future. Or maybe we transition to enterprise. But as of right now, for like if you're a student, you'll be responsible of your own data. So we select next. In here, you can give it a title, whatever title you want to give it, and then save it to your folder. Maptime Davis. And we select save. And we wait. So you'll be able to see your information is being loaded, and the picture might be a little bit slow to show. There we go. So if you guys see right here, these three dots, just click on it and try to find this field maps designer. And you want to right click and open in a new tab. So this is what we're looking for, field maps designer. So once you guys open it in the new tab, you'll be able to see it's probably empty, but this is what I have. And this is what allows me to create the forms. A form is what the guys in the field will be able to input the data. So you'll be able to put in pictures. If they find a new light, then they'll be able to figure out, okay, this is in circuit A2. It has a size pipe of 2 inches. The pole is, I don't know, 10 feet tall. So you'll be able to create fields. Okay, so usually you tag to your locators or the field crew, what do you need to populate or what do you need to survey? Size, material, location, names, and then you'll be able to create each individual, slot for them to fill out. So I'm gonna go ahead and create a new map. And you want to let's start with a layer, with new layer. Are you guys okay with the map and the creation? Or anybody's lost?
Like 2 steps behind.
Oh, sorry. I can wait.
Yeah.
Make sure that everybody is on. Okay, no worries.
No, the cookies.
Yeah, so you have to delete your cookies. It's just, for some reason, it does that. Or switch to a browser, yeah. Tell me?
Incognito works if you're using Chrome.
Oh, okay.
If you don't want to delete all your cookies, you can. As long as I still have the browsing history, I need that.
Yeah. Just select your cookies.
So can you remind me what, like going back one step, once I have it unzipped and I have my zip page file, I just drag and drop it into the.
Yeah, so you're gonna select, let me see right here, content. So once you're in your folder, so for example, I made this folder for Maptime Davis, you're gonna select this box that says new item and it will open this window. Yeah, that's where you want to drop in your files, or you can browse your device, but I already have it open in a file explorer, so it's just easier to drag and drop. Okay, I don't think we need this no more. Yeah. So then you're gonna go to this 9 dots and search for Field Maps Designer, and you can right-click and open it in a new tab. So that's usually my workflow, going there. I have usually these 3 tabs open, one for the map, one for Field Maps Designer, and the other one for my content, so I can access all the files that I need to access.
And then just, sorry to go back one more. We need to add the layers you gave us to the map, then go to Field Map Designer?
Yeah, so in this case, I only added Firewater just to,
Okay.
just as an example, just adding one of them. You guys can, we should work with first with just one of the layers, and then do the rest later if we have time. Okay, so then once you are in Field Maps Designer, you're gonna create your new map, and then we're gonna start with new layer. So you can also make templates on your, layer templates on your web browser, on your account, and you can call any forms from any other maps. That way you don't have to reinvent the wheel and having to put material for domestic water on this map, and material for domestic water for the contractors, material for domestic water. You can just recall the information and then share and have a already set form. You can also start with no layers and add the layers later on. But let's start with one of the layers. I'm gonna pass around this one. If you can take one sheet and pass it around. So this has some of the commands that I use, and I'm not a programmer, so these are just single line codes that have helped me to organize the workspace and automate some of the information. So we're gonna be using those commands later, and I'll show you how to input them. Let me get it right here. So layer name, we can put, let's say you want to survey a data point, which is already point layer, which is the most common. We can put new data point. Normally that's what I call it. And then within my options, then I'll give the contractors or the surveyors the option of, it's a new data point, what kind of data point it is. Is it a transformer, hydrant, so on? Anything that is just a singular object on space. We're gonna choose line layer if they are surveying a new pipe. There's a new gas pipe that runs 15 feet from the edge of the building to the street. So, and polygon layer, which it's probably, maybe that comes to mind is a building footprint or a manhole footprint. And so you'll be able to attach area of the shape, any other pictures and so on. So we're just gonna do point layer for now. And then we go to next. In here, since we're using our phone, we're not gonna be using the GPS receiver. Normally we'll be using this for more accuracy. But sometimes just the phone signal is okay. And what we use this for the most part is for red lines. Later on, we use the equipment and we actually use the accurate receiver. Or if you have a receiver at home, you'll be able to turn on this little dot and connect it through Bluetooth. Now in here, we're gonna add a title for the map. So let's do map time Davis. And this is the feature layer, will be just the one that we created. And you can create, you can select in which folder you want to save your new map. So I usually have it in here, map time Davis. And then you're gonna create map. It's gonna take a while. Once you create the map, then you'll be able to log into, you'll be able to see it on your in your contents.
Oh, map creation failed now.
No.
Did you put it into a folder?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't, and it also failed for me. Let's try again.
Yeah, let's make sure that everybody is on.
A new map. First one's a new map.
Yes. Do you create maps also in Field Maps for design?
I usually bring my feature layer into a map, do it how I want it, and then open field
Oh, okay.
editor, and like, or edit it in the map.
Okay.
So, you know, there's so many different ways.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask you what's your workflow, but yeah, this is how how I do it in the office. You can go back to your contents, access your MapTime Davis folder, and reload if you are not seeing the web map. So once you create your MapTime Davis form, you'll be able to see the MapTime Davis web map available.
Oh, I wonder if they're all making the same. I just got a warning that must be unique across items in my organization. And I wonder if, sorry, I'm just on.
Yeah, no worry. I've not encountered that problem before. Is everybody else encountering a problem? You guys,
Did it, but then tried again and it worked.
no, okay. Yeah, something I've noticed is that sometimes the website lags a little bit. So
I also made a typo in my new data point, so maybe there's something to do with all the same name. When I made the typo, it was like, oh, that's fine.
Yeah, I'm gonna try.
yeah, sometimes like with ArcGIS Pro, it doesn't take the space, or
Yeah.
so you have to put in the underscore. Yeah, it's very sensitive to those kind of mistakes. So that's why I have here always underscore firewater underscore new data point.
I feel like that's how you can tell if somebody uses.
Yeah.
Somebody uses underscore,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
"Ooh, you mark."
Yeah, so. Okay. So once we see the new web map, you're gonna go ahead and open it. Let's open a new tab. And then you're gonna open it in Map Viewer. So we select click. And then boom, you'll have your map. This looks very familiar if you use ArcGIS Pro. So in here, let me know if you guys are in this page. But in here, you're gonna go to the Add tab, and you'll be able to see it's organized usually by the time in which you added it, in which you added a new data. So we're gonna add domestic fire water. And you'll see that this is a line data. For some reason, the automatic setting is purple color. And for fire water, for some reason, we've been using red, which red is not a really good color since we use red for red lines, but we've been using this since 2004, I suppose. So people are used to seeing fire water in red. If you go to this tab that says styles, let me see right here again, and then you can select the style options. This should be very similar to what you guys see in ArcGIS Pro, where it's just a different interface, but everything should be named almost the same. You can click on this pen button and you'll be able to change the colors. So you can change it, you can leave it in purple or put in yellow, and you'll be able to see the size is, the color is already changing. And I'll leave it in red. Additionally, if you click on one of the lines, you should get the data point, the object data information. You'll see the street, you'll see the year, you'll see the size, the material, everything where it serviced, even the day that it was added. So 2007 and 8. So this is how you bring in information into your map. Oh, you want to save it. Very important.
Yeah, I had to put a unique, I put my initials on both of the fire water and the.
Oh, I
and the
see.
listed layer.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's because.
Did you download, maybe sometimes what happens is that if you have the file already downloaded in your or uploaded in your server, it won't let you save with the same name.
Yeah.
So maybe you had a duplicate. Yeah, but
It has to be different within the organization.
Yeah, I think
So
we're all
Okay.
getting the same thing.
I just kept adding 2 until it would let me. So
okay.
Firewater 2222.
All right.
I have firewater too.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, when you guys go into AutoCAD, or if you guys have your own shape file, then you'll be your own host of the information. You don't need to put 222 or 333, so you should be fine. Now the cool thing is you guys can go on your phones and download, come on, the following application. Okay, now we don't need that. Give me a second. Oh, I have it here. So you guys can download this application called Field Maps, and you'll be able to see the map that you just created available in your application. So let's go ahead and download it. And the way you log in is the same. You're going to log in with using the organization's URL. And you just put in your UC Davis credentials and log in to your Kerberos. So just for funsies, I'm going to do it as well. So if I log into my phone.
What do you think of the Field Maps app?
Well,
It has 2.5 stars.
yeah, I know there's a lot of improvements, but I think it just depends on how you manage the data and how you make it available. Yeah, maybe a lot of people are using it for other things that the app is just not designed for.
That's what I think happens.
Yeah.
Because like I know people that will need it for like field data collection.
Yeah.
They don't know Esri, they're not in the ecosystem, and they're like, it's
Yeah.
terrible. And it's like if you're in the ecosystem, it's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. So I think it's a lot of people that might be misusing it, or they just don't know how to use it properly. But everybody in organization is loving it so far. So in here, you'll be able to see all the maps that I create. But you guys should be able to find this one, Map Time Davis. Once you click on it, yeah, it is a bit.
Wait, now I'm confused.
Okay,
Sign in with ArcGIS Enterprise.
No, ArcGIS Online.
Okay, there we
Yeah.
go. That's the issue.
Yeah, that's when we have to figure out the.
And then use your organizational sign.
Yeah.
Now I got it. Okay.
Yeah, and then you type UC Davis on the box. So you'll be able to see on your phone the information that you just uploaded. And same as in the computer, you'll be able to click on one of the lines and see all the, come on, let me scroll. See all the information. So, well, I called it Map Time Davis. Yeah. It's it gets confusing sometimes browsing through all the, if you already have an account. Yeah, so in here you'll be able to see your location. So, woohoo, we're here. And you'll be able to see just a section of the domestic water, zoom in, zoom out, click on the information and so on. And if you see this blue button, you'll be able to see the form that you have just created, new data. The problem is that we haven't added any information or what we need to recollect. So that's why you go to the following website. Sorry, this one right here. The one where you just create the map. And in here, you'll see you have an empty form for new data point. So do we have any extra sheets of paper, the ones that were going around with the arcade codes? Oh, that one.
I have it here. I'll see it on here. I think you said you save it on here.
Oh yeah, so selecting here, you see the blue dot? Yeah, and then save. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you don't see it there, you want to go back to your main page and reload the map. So on the 3 dots, you can sort that. And reload. You should be able to see it.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Yes.
I'm sorry. I never use our online.
Okay, so go back
Oh, the three dots.
online, down on the.
Oh, yeah.
There we go. The three dots is always the same.
Yeah.
Okay, let me reload it.
Okay, so if you guys have the documents, in here you're able to add a lot of really good information. So barcode, if you guys have a barcode management with your organization where the people can just go and scan the barcode on the transformer and all the information will populate automatically. We don't have that yet, but we're working on it. That way you don't have to manually just punch in transformer 1, 2, 3, ABC. Right, that's pretty good. So the first thing that I add is this tab, date and time. So you're gonna grab and drag in here and call it date surveyed. Oops. On the field name, you can leave it as is. It's okay. We'll just be the exact same that you have in here, except with the underscore. The description, if you want to add any description, up to you. And in order to make it so that it records the time and the date, we have to first save this layer or save this setting. And it takes a while. Then when you scroll all the way down, you're going to calculate an expression. So you'll be able to see it right here at the very bottom. You select on the gear icon, and we're going to add a new expression. So let's call it date. That way we know what is this. And then you're going to type.
That was covered by the Zoom controls on the screen. Where did you put this?
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me cancel this. Let's put this over here. Does that work? Oh, sorry. Maybe I'll move it over here. Yeah, perfect. So if you scroll all the way down, calculated expressions, and you click on the gear icon. Yeah. Oh, sorry. So you go to one of the three tabs that we have is this one, the one for the field maps designer. Yeah, so you go to field maps designer, and in there you should see under forms, it should be empty. Then you have a whole bunch of items to add. You'll be adding date and time, so you drag into your main workspace. Once you have selected the date and time, you can change the name to date surveyed. You're good? No? Yes, so the way to access field map designers, you click on the three dots. Sorry, yeah. Thank you, Naomi. Okay, I think he might need some help as well, Naomi. Okay, perfect. So once we're here, are we all here? Yeah, good. Okay. Once we're all here, then we're gonna go ahead and, oh, sorry, I pulled it back again. Scroll all the way down. Oh, first you need to save. So once you have that, save your form. You can now calculate an expression if the form is not saved. Once it's saved, you scroll all the way down to where it says calculated expression, and you click on the gear icon. Then you add a new expression. You can name it date or date and time, up to you. And when you type in here, you're going to see almost like in C# or C++ sometimes. It's going to start populate what you want. If you just type now and select that option of that has the two parentheses, what this does is that it's going to calculate the date and the time at the moment that you add a new data point. So it will be automatic. You don't have to go in and manually select. It's 11:28 a.m. on Friday, October 17th. And it will let you know This field is a read-only because it's calculated, so you won't have to do any edits. Go ahead and save that. And let me make sure that everybody's in there. Yeah, good. Okay. All right, let's continue. So I'm gonna click out of this box, just select anywhere else. And let's add single line. So we wanna know who added the data. So surveyor name. So this one is gonna be a single line. So it will be a text single line. Then we're gonna go ahead and same thing, we're gonna save before we calculate the expression. And then we're gonna go to item number 2 in your command list, which is get user. What this allows you is to fill in your name or the name of the person that has been, that is recollecting the data. That way you don't have to type in the name. So same thing, we scroll all the way down. We select the gear icon, and you'll be able to see that your expression for date is available. So if you want to attach that date to some other data point, you can do it. So let's go right here, expression. And we're going to go to, let's put it right here, surveyor name, or just name is fine. And we're going to type in the second line of code, which is get user. And where it says, it's gonna tell you to go to features, you're gonna delete that, and you're gonna select the $sign. Where's my $sign? Layer. Sorry, without this. Yep. Then don't forget the dot after that, and then type full name. Done.
So this being Esri, that's Python, right?
This is arcade.
Arcade.
Arcade. Oh,
Its own language.
okay.
Yeah.
I don't know R, so
It's a scripting.
I only know one language.
So far.
So far.
So far, yeah. I mean, I didn't know any of this until I was like, woo. Yeah, the more you work on maps and creating all of these forms, then you get used to how this works. Okay, so now you have a read-only for the date and the surveyor name. So these will automatically populate once you get the data. Now, you can add a single line also, and you can call it, let's say, I don't know, surface. Okay, and then these ones are the ones where now you're gonna be telling, okay, well, is this a domestic? Is this a main? Is it damaged? You can also add a whole bunch of options down here where it says choice. In choice, you can have a combo box, which will allow you to pull a menu of items, and then that way they don't have to type main, service, or fire, but rather you already pre-selected those items for the field crew, and then they'll be able to access the data or choose that data. But in this case, we'll just do service. And at the end, I like to always add a multiple line that says notes, just in case that they want to express any other concerns, like maybe the conditions of the utilities need to be noted. So I add all of those as well. And okay, once we have those 4 items, let's go ahead and go back to your maps on the phone. And we can reload the page. Let me discard this. So let me reload the map. Come on, there we go. And let's add a new data point. If it allows me, come on, there we go. So once you add the new data point, you'll be able to see that my name and the date and time is already being displayed. Under service, you can type, this is a main line, or actually, this is a point. So let's put it, maybe it's a meter. Notes, new meter to be installed. You can also take a picture. I don't know what, will it open my front camera, I guess. Can I see it? Okay, well, because I'm using my phone, it won't do it. So I'm gonna take a picture right here. Just for so, is it working for you? Yeah, you need to make sure to save your form. Yeah. Every little change that you make, just like in every other software, save. Save like put a reminder like every minute, just one click, save. It happens all the time. You don't never know, the website will crash or something. You can scroll and select where you want the point to be added. Then the good thing about field maps is that you can attach it to the end of a line, and you'll feel on your phone, you'll feel a little vibration once it gets close to an endpoint. There we go. You can also attach files if you have a PDF construction document of that specific meter. So you just bring the data point, let's attach it right here. You add the point, and then you click submit. So you'll see your data will be now on the field with your name and date automatically filled in there with your notes and your service input, and you'll have the attachment of your picture. So there we go. So that is just how you create a form. And you can just explore all the other items that they have in there, like the combo box or the radial buttons, which are very useful if they're not just adding a hydrant, but they need to add a whole bunch of other utilities that are contained within the system. Then you don't want them to type every time, this is a hydrant, just rather select hydrant, done. It will be automatically chosen there. Okay, let me see what do we have next. Okay, so labels. Oh, I should have added an ID. Okay. So for the labels, we're gonna go ahead and go to your MapSpace website on your browser. And the same way where you change the style, we're gonna scroll down to where it says labels. So it should be on your right side ribbon. Then we select on the labels, and you can add a new label. So in this case, let's add a new label for, let's say, the fire water. No, have a label, and then let's add a label. So automatically it will show your layer, which you can see in here. This is the layer which I had predetermined in my AutoCAD file. You can also scroll down to any other layer that you have. For example, the size of the pipe, which is usually what I do. I like to have the size of the pipe. That way the guys are not necessarily clicking on the line and then scrolling down to see what size it is, but rather it's just right there available. Let me see. But sometimes when you have a lot of lines going through, you want to tell them, okay, this is a fire line, rather than just having them to click and they're like, okay, this is 6 line, a red line, but then there's also another red line for, let's say you use red for electricity, which we do, then they won't know if it is a fire or an electricity. So in this case, you can click on this icon right next to it, and then you're gonna edit your own expression for a label. And this will be on your worksheet. You can use the 4th line. Then we're gonna type text. delete the value and add, in this case, well, I have domestic water. You can put FW for fire water. I leave a space, then I put a plus sign, and then enter to call all the features that you want to name in there, which is size. You can also put in the layer, you can also put in the material, but just to make it clean, use the size. And it's probably what it's been used the most on the field as well. So feature, then size, and you want to make sure to type it as it is exported. So for some reason in AutoCAD, everything comes on with the caps on. So, and what is it, like a hashtag sign that follow is just the numbering. If you want to have like a, what is it, like the rounding the numbers. Yeah, I forget what it's called. Let me see. Why is he giving me an error? Do we have no size in here?
Oh.
Yours worked? Feature.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, I see why.
Build it for me. That's the only reason I know.
Why it's not letting me access the size?
I put feature and then in the brackets,
Yeah.
I have quotes around the word size.
Oh, maybe that's what I'm missing. No.
And they're double quotes, but usually not.
Yeah, I think that will read as. Oh, there we go. Yeah, I forget that. Sorry. There should be the little quote, the single quote under the size or surrounding the size. And then you'll be able to see fire water, which is the first line of text telling, okay, this is a fire water, and the size, which is 6. So you can also customize that instead of maybe you're working on a, I don't know, geological project and you want to see any routing of animals and how they travel through the space. You can tell this is the line that follows the, I don't know, the commute of this specific animal on this many amount of feet. So yeah, just at a glance, this is what I do for work. Make sure that the information is available for the guys on the field. Make sure that they know the size. Make sure that they know what system it is. Well, we could work on the other lines, but we might be out of time. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, I think my contact information is also available on the Maptime Davis calendar. Yeah, I think I saw it on the website. So you guys can reach out to me. The moment we don't have student intern positions open, but we might have some for next year if you guys are interested. So you can just email me and then I'll direct you to my supervisor. I hope this wasn't confusing.
No, it's just
Yeah. Yeah, okay.
Have you done this before, like this presentation before?
No, it's the first time. Yeah, awesome. Thank you. Yeah, so if you guys have any more questions, we also have other student opportunities for different departments within our organization. So I know we just have one student hired for our civil engineer division. So they do a lot of this work as well, surveying, database analysis, and you call it. So yeah, thank you guys. Thank you. If you guys have any questions, let me know. Email me, call me, text me, whatever. I'm available.
I had a question like way long ago.
Yes.
This online system where it's like facility maps.UC Davis. I'm assuming that's like only you can access that. Like I can't just like Google that.
Yeah, you need to create an account, and this one right here, right?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, and that account will have to be, you have to have a reason to join in, and then we will approve your account. Yeah. Yeah, this is because there's just so much sensitive information in here that we need to filter who has access to it. Yeah, but if you need a floor plan of Chill's library, just contact us. We can print it for you, or we can give you the digital version. Yeah, question.
Broad questions, someone new to GIS, like what are like the differences, disadvantages, advantages of like ArcGIS versus GIS or GIS Online? I don't really understand the differences between these.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm actually quite new to GIS too, because we use AutoCAD a lot. So from what I've noticed, the only time that I use ArcGIS Online is to give this information to my field guys, so that they know they have all the utilities on their phones or their tablets. In ArcGIS Pro, we do custom maps. I think we have one back there where we have all the electrical light posts on West Campus. We print it and then we give it to our field guys, and then they do the markups. So not everybody welcomes technology. Some of them like the printed maps. So we have both options, but
That's the basic difference. Pro is desktop software, the online is hosted, it's all kind of licensed the same way.
Yeah.
But, desktop will give you a lot of, the online software there is a much fewer tools available than the desktop if you want to do like
analysis.
networking and analysis.
Yeah.
And all that stuff. You can do basic spatial analysis online, but it's, like the deep stuff. And it's faster on your desktop and it won't charge you credits.
Yeah.
But it's not, what Federico is showing here with these online maps, this is what Arc Pro is. I mean, Arc Online is really shines at, is setting you up out of the box. He customized some stuff, but it's just out of the box technology that you can set up on someone's phone and go and just go. So.
And then I feel obligated to mention QGIS is a free version. If you're like fresh out of new to GIS, QGIS is one that is free or not paid at the university.
Free desktop.
Free desktop.
Yeah.
I don't know what that.
And we'll be doing a few GIS workshops.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you go on the archive of Matt Davis,
You'll find the lessons. Yeah.
And organic, yes.
Yeah, the materials for all of our, like, sort of core workshops live online, and so you can always get the materials, and we have links to the videos on our YouTube channel, so if you wanna watch somebody give it, you can, but you can also just read, that's easier. Or you can come next quarter and we'll do it live.
I'm a QGIS convert, I feel like I have to like tell everyone.
But also, like, if you're looking for like open source online options, like, come to a work session, like next week at the work session, so we can talk more about how that works. Different tools, but related. So lots of options.
Yeah. There was a question back there?
Yeah, I've used QGIS and ArcMap and ArcGIS Pro. But I'm just wondering, is there like a preferred one to use, like QGIS or ArcGIS Pro for certain analyses, or like certain things that you do?
Oh, at work, at my office, or yeah. So what we use is ArcGIS Pro in general, just because I feel like there's a better interface connection with AutoCAD. So, like I said, like we are mainly an AutoCAD shop. So lots of designs is just, and with my background as architect, we use a lot of AutoCAD as well. So it was easier for me to do that transition and that workflow between ArcGIS Pro and AutoCAD. I haven't used QGIS at all. I'm not sure what its capabilities are.
It's also very good with AutoCAD, and I would say because, and this is the same to me, so it will depend on what you want to do. For both of us, our workflow eventually leads towards online data collection, either through ArcGIS or through an enterprise GIS all licensed. So it makes sense to kind of keep the whole workflow there. But if you are not geared towards that, then we're into a whole seminar that we could run on the code. Like they're very comparable tools as GIS and ARC. So A lot, it kind of depends on your industry, what you want to do. QGIS is free and open source and, you know, big plug for that. So if you're doing, like research, it's, either one will work, but QGIS will be free when you graduate. So, that's really like what it comes down to, but, you know, if we are working in this with enterprise and you have, you have a lot of people that go and you're running, a lot of cities and counties use it for the same reason, they publicly host data. And so they license with Esri, and it makes things so much easier for access and that. So that pipeline fits together.
Yeah. But you have another question, but if it's.
I was gonna say, in terms of like just analysis, like I need to do analysis X. Either option, QGIS or ArcGIS is totally fine. I'm gonna throw into the mix programming languages like R and Python as well. So if you need to automate a lot of stuff, or you think you need to make something really repeatable, that's when you want to start looking at a programming language to do your analysis. So, but the desktop tools pretty much can do the same things as each other. Like, I wouldn't expect that, like, you know, Arc couldn't do something that QGIS could do or vice versa. It might just be a slightly different, like, way to find the tool, but they're very comparable at this point. But definitely want to look into a programming language if it's, you know, analysis that you want to do that's going to be repeatable or like for research purposes. It is easier to document code than it is to be like, I opened this tool and I clicked on this button, I selected this, like, that gets to be really tedious, so definitely think about programming languages in there in the mix.
Thank you. Okay, and then the other question that I had, for making like not a map for personal use more, but you want to show it to people, like, we have an Instagram account called GIS Baddies. Yeah, so I'm just wondering, like data licensing and stuff, how do you know if you could pull, like I know you have to go search the public websites and usually they're okay, like I find a boundary of Davis or Yolo County or something like that. But how do you know that you're not like doing something that's wrong or copyrighted?
Yeah, I can answer that as you're the presenter, so I'm gonna give you first crack.
Yeah. So, well, for the data that I just shared with you is very small and not sensitive, as you can go out on the field and then see markings on the ground, so you know where the line is going. You can see where the hydrant is and a bulb is. So, however, if you want to have the whole map, you'll have to go through. I think you'll have to go through my supervisor, and then he will have to approve it with his supervisor, and then that becomes more complicated. That's something that we don't usually do. That's why we give access to people in a website like the one that I have right here, facilities maps. So then if you need to use them or if you need to see the information, you're able to access it, see it, but not download it. You're not able to download this information. You're able to download maybe PDFs. I think you're able to download maybe footprints of buildings, but not utilities. Yeah, so I think for that, you'll probably have to consult with whoever is the owner. And if it's an entity like UC Davis, it can become a bit complicated. Yeah.
But in general, like if you're like going, like say you wanted to make a map of like California, data that comes from state of California and also from the United States government is open licensed. So that's fair game. Another good data source for open license data is OpenStreetMap. The terms on that require attribution. So that means you can use it, you can do what you want with it, but you have to say this data came from OpenStreetMap. So that's easy. You can put that in. Like if it's an Instagram post, you can just put that in the description or put like a little text on your map that gives attribution to them. So those are the key ones I would look for. Another good one is natural earth data. That's completely open license. It doesn't require attribution, but it's nice to mention them so that people know we've got it. Otherwise, I would look for like terms of service or a license on the data. So if you're getting it from like a private entity, you should have like a file, like it might be a README or a text file that's sort of a license, or the website might say this data is copyright so-and-so. If it's copyrighted, you'll need permission. You'll have to get more information about like what you're willing to like do. If it doesn't explicitly say like you can use this, but give us attribution or something like that. So look for those kinds of things on the website when you're getting data. But federal data and state of California data should be fair game.
Okay. Thank you so much.
We do have to wrap up. I have one more question if you don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead.
The floor plans, the electrical maps, all these drawings that you put up, they're very complicated. There's a lot of detail.
Yeah.
What did you do? Did you take classes? How did you learn to read these complicated drawings and look at all this data? Was it a class? Was this on the job? What would you suggest to our?
Yeah, so when I came into this position, well, through my studies, I learned how to read maps because I had to do a lot of maps, site plans, mainly irrigation plans because of my major. But as you work on the field, you get to make relationships with other people, and they explain to you. I mean, if you're a GIS specialist for utilities, you need to have general knowledge of hydrology, electricity, gas pressure. So they take you, or like you get to shadow the people around, and they take you on the field, explain to you how a valve works, how do you close it, how do you open it, how do you test a valve is working. With the electricity, it's a bit more complicated, but they still take you around, and they explain to you the voltage, the watts, and the way you learn is by tagging along with other people. There are engineers everywhere on campus, and they're very knowledgeable. We have really good people that graduated here in-house in UC Davis, and same thing as I had done. They were students. They graduated, they know the system already because they've been interns for 2-3 years, so it's easier to hire them and just keep them. And they walk you around and they show you what each symbology means. And as you work with the maps for them, you have questions like why the transformer has an A and a B here and the other one has a B and A inverted. They'll explain to you why. Also, I don't know which other one is the gas. Well, we don't really do much with gas. Yeah, irrigation. Yeah. But you just, as you work around, you make relationships and they'll explain to you, and you'll get to broaden your knowledge on how the utilities work. Or it cannot just be on utilities. You do geography or geology work, then I don't know much about it because I don't work in that field. But yeah. So your knowledge comes through shared knowledge. Yeah.
We are
Okay.
at time, and I want to thank you so much for coming and sharing all of what you do, your expertise, and about yourself.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you guys. Thank you. So